right, more volume today. Volume formula of a pyramid and a cone. Um, we're going to skip a whole bunch of the investigative part of it, you guys, just to be able to get to it. You've seen formulas before. Volume says volume is equal to 1/3 area of the base times the height of a pyramid. So depending on what the base is, whether it's a square or a rectangle, a triangle, a pentagon, a hexagon, whatever it is, you have to find the area of the base. This says that requires another formula. Okay, always requires another formula. All right, so let's take a look at this. Um, I guess before we do that, we're going to say jump into cones. So again, not going to spend a lot of time on this one. Volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. In this case, you could 1/3, hello, about 1/3 uh, pi r squared h. You could skip the area of the base if you want, but it's essentially the same formula, isn't it? Okay, so um, number 6 says that um, a square pyramid has a volume of 245 inches cubed. The height of the pyramid is 15. What is the area of the base? Now, don't get crazy on us, you guys. You know the formula. Um, so um, volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. We now know then that the volume is 245. Plug in appropriate numbers. 1/3. We're trying to find the area of the base times the height, which is 15 inches. So this tells us that if I multiply this by 3 and then divide it by 15, I'll get b by myself. That means I got to multiply this by 3 and divide this by 15. It means I'm going to get b by itself, right? So I end up with b is equal to, and if we plug that in to a calculator, we're going to get 49. B is the area of the base. That is part of your answer. Then they ask us what is the length of one of the sides of the bases. Now, they said this was a square pyramid, right? If that's a square pyramid, then the side has to be the square root of 49 or 7. Uh, this should be inches squared. Should always label them. This is just going to be inches. So those are our answers for those two. Number 7 says in the diagram at the right, determine the volume of the cone. Again, we have the formula. 3 steps, remember. Area 1/3 area of the base times the height. That requires, area of the base requires a formula. This looks like it's a 5, 12, 13 Pythagorean triple. Those don't go away, you guys. 1/3 area of the base is pi r squared, so times pi times radius squared, 5 squared times the height is 12. And they said exact answers. Okay, that means you're not going to plug in pi to your calculator. And what ends up happening here is you end up with um, 25 times 4, which is 100 pi. And this is going to be units cubed um, for our answer. Okay, so those are pretty straightforward in terms of where we're headed. The next lesson here introduces spheres, formulas for spheres, and they ask us to go through various things. You guys know a sphere is a ball shape um, item, tennis ball, basketball, the Earth. Actually, the Earth isn't a complete sphere. It's more of a ellipse, but that's beside the point. All right, so um, they walk us through how they come up with these formulas. And you guys, if you want to, it's actually kind of a cool process. I am going to just give you that formula. That formula, volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. Remember, surface area was equal to 4 pi r squared. And I wrote that wrong, you guys. That should be cubed, shouldn't it? Pi r cubed is what I said, not what I wrote. So those are two formulas that we need to be familiar with. They're similar. They're not the same. Um, and again, I think that's fairly self-explanatory. 3 steps, you guys. Plug the numbers in, or write the formula, plug the numbers in, then give me an answer. If they ask for exact answers, do not round and don't plug in pi. If they ask you to go ahead and round, then go ahead and plug in pi.